is the verdict. So the trial's ended. The jury are making their mind up, and this
Hold on, I'm
going
to skip ahead a little bit.
This wasn't a breach of peace.
Of course, a breach of peace. I'm being arrested.
But the content of what you're streaming.
The content of what I'm streaming, I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. Can you get me a solicitor? Can you get me a solicitor?
Can you just turn off your live feed?
Can you get me a solicitor?
Turn off your live feed, please.
Yeah?
Do you understand what I just said?
No, can you explain it again?
Causing a breach of the peace.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
See, even Tommy doesn't know. What is this? What is you're being arrested for suspicion of breaching the peace because of the content that you are streaming. He's outside of a courthouse. Now, I know that there's been demonstrations and there has been protests ever since this happening. And I pray to God that Brits are waking up, that this is the straw that broke the camel's back, that you're nowhere near where you gotta be, and you are living amongst the enemy. The enemy's all around you, and they've been let in by your benevolent, altruistic leaders out there. They've been let in, and there's a lot of danger that you're living around. That's for damn sure. But this has got to get turned around somewhere. What does that mean?
What does that mean? The content of what I'm streaming, I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. You've all watched this. You've all watched this.
Look at that. How brave.
Can you get me a solicitor?
How brave. Oh, brave, yeah. And they let the female officer be the one to go reach in for the phone. How brave these officers are. How brave, as London rots from the inside out. They got 7 officers. 7 officers. Like turkey vultures circling around Tommy Robinson. 7 officers. Talk about a misappropriation of funds. They're all paid out there, ganging up on Tommy. Unbelievable. I want to read you something again. This is just off of Telford. We talked about Rotherham at another time, okay? This is just about Telford. We talked about this back in March. This is from the Daily Mail. Girls must be saved from going through this hell. Call for public inquiry into Telford sex scandal as it emerges that up to 1,000 children as young as 11 were drugged, beaten, and raped over 40 fucking years. Gang in Telford has been sexually abusing teen girls since the 1980s. Allegations, quote, have been mishandled by authorities, end quote, with attackers left unpunished. Telford's Tory MP, Lucy Allen, has called for an urgent Rotherham-style inquiry. Lucy Lowe, 16 years old, was murdered alongside of her mother and sister after her abuser set fire to their house. She had given birth to his child, the abuser, at just age 14. I'm going to read you a little bit more because it gets terrible and you all should hear it. A brutal sex gang raped as many as 1,000 young girls over 40 years in what may be Britain's worst ever child abuse scandal until the next one pops up, of course. And then until whatever takes shape over here in the U.S. outdoes that. Girls in the town of Telford were drugged, beaten, raped at the hands of grooming gangs active since the 1980s. Allegations that are said to have been mishandled by authorities, with many perpetrators going unpunished, while it is claimed that similar abuse continues in the area. Home Office figures show that there were 15.1 child sex crimes reported per 10,000 residents in the year to September 15th. Telford's population is 155,000, meaning a potential of 225 victims. Telford's Conservative MP, Lucy Allen, has previously called for a Rotherham-style inquiry into the allegations and called the latest reports extremely serious and shocking. A mother and 4 teenage girls have been linked to the allegations of abuse. Lucy Lowe, 16, died alongside of her mother and sister after the man who had been abusing her, 26-year-old Azhar Ali Mahmood, which of course is just old school British, set fire to their house. The taxi driver first targeted Lucy in 1997. She gave birth to his child when she was just 14. Now, here are some of the things here. Here is the abuse, timeline of abuse for the Telford sex scandal. 1980s, girls in Telford are targeted by a group mainly comprising of Asian men. And remember, they're not little Mr. Miyagi's. No, I know you're thinking Mr. Miyagi right now, but it's not. 1996, a resident goes to the police with information about a key abuser selling underage girls for sex. Late 1990s, social workers learn of the problem but do little to help. 2000, Lucy Lowe, 16, is killed alongside of her mother. 2002, abuse victim Becky Watson, 13 years old, is killed in a road accident described as a prank. 2010 to 12, police probe Operation Chalice identifies potential 200 abusers, but only 9 are jailed. 2000, you want to talk about rape culture? Let's talk about the ones that liberalized Western societies are actually suppressing. Not what's going on, kids hooking up after a couple of shots of Goldschlager in college. 2016, MP Lucy Allen calls for the public inquiry, and then 2018, as many as 1,000 victims are believed to have been abused. And Tommy Robinson is getting hauled away and thrown in a can for 13 months for caring. That's what it comes down to. That's what that comes down to. My God. Now, I want to shift gears a little bit. Of course, we're going to take calls in the second half. I'd love to be able to get some callers from the UK in, anything you want. But then again, calls from all over. But this is a humanitarian crisis. This is not a problem of just the UK and 2 cities in the UK. Just like what we had being uncovered before the Me Too movement swooped in and made it all about empowering girls. What was being uncovered in Hollywood. Okay? It's a humanitarian crisis. That's what it is. We're all on the same team, or at least we should be. We should all be playing toward the same goal. But I want to shift course a little bit here and talk about Spygate as well. Now, the word Spygate, because we're going back to the U.S. now. We're talking about all the investigations that are blowing up in the left's faces and what's actually being exposed. Now, the word Spygate, I hate all the gates. I hate all of the gates. I'm a gatophobe. Okay? Spygate is a word that reformed anti-gay blogger Joy Ann Reid, she's reformed, don't you know? She refuses to use the word Spygate because that is just how it works with progressives. Now, I want to read you something and I want to talk to you about what I see, what is coming out of these people, and what you always have to look out for, and especially going forward when they start throwing things in your face, to stay focused. Listen to Joy Reid. She refuses to use the word Spygate. This is from I have the whole transcript here, but I don't know. Let's play it. Let's see.
The same could be said about the reality TV presidency, this polarizing cocktail of government and shock jock entertainment, where buzzwords and branding go a lot farther than actual facts. Donald Trump knows this, and his ability, or rather his compulsion to lie, even about things that are easy to prove, has in a crazy way.
Remember, this would be the same woman that would go to bat for Hillary Clinton and all of her lies, trivial or big. So I'm not saying excuse one lie, excuse the other, but just remember, it pays, and it's good to be the king of media, at least. When you control 95% of the media, it doesn't matter how shallow you are, how empty you are. It doesn't matter, because you have the final say. You have the biggest bullhorn out there. It does not, nothing else matters. So listen to this freak bloviate a little bit more.
It actually helped him, allowing him to play the victim for his fans and distract the rest of us from his multiple controversies and policy failures.
Wait, name a couple of policy failures after 16 months. We're just starting to implement them, idiot. How about that? And about the multiple scandals. You're talking about the ones that you made up on the fly? Listen, this is all nonsense, and it would not exist if there was parity in the media. But parity is coming back because less and less people are tuning in to bloggers, to reformed anti-gay bloggers like Joy Ann Reid.
Which is why now, as we pass the 1-year mark, counsel Robert Mueller's probe, we're seeing Trump peddle yet another fake scandal to distract from the real potential crisis dogging his presidency. The mounting evidence that the Trump campaign cooperated with Russia's attack on our democracy and that the President of the United States obstructed justice in an attempt to cover it up. That, very simply, is Russiagate.
That, very simply, is our fantasy. And if you try to go against that and you try to show how it's based on nothing, it's a house built on a foundation of sand, then of course, you are just a reality TV bigot. That's all you are. So the brainless Joy Reid, which of course, once again, it's smoothed over. It's a couple of weeks later. She still has AM Joy. She still gets to host AM Joy on MSNBC because this is who they are. Told you she was not going to pay for it because she's too high up the progressive stack. No way in hell. Gay white male or gay male falls below black progressive woman. Just what happens. I told you it wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to happen. If it was a gay male making fun of Joy Ann Reid, goodbye. Goodbye, gay guy. It was great to have you here at MSNBC. No more. But now here's what they do. Now, first they blame you for the very same thing that they're doing. So remember, they've all had Saul Alinsky behavior and tactics burned into their machinery. That is their machinery. That is how they operate. Even if they're not aware, this is the play. This is the play. Okay? They didn't learn board games. They didn't learn anything like that. This is all a game. This is all a game. It's about not losing. It's not about getting to a point where we reach a higher level of truth and understanding about what's going on around us and how the world works, how money works, how freedom works, history. It's not. It's a game. It's all a game. It's about looking good, avoiding looking bad, and winning at something. Okay? Admitting that you're wrong is part of living a responsible life on planet Earth. It's not about responsibility or making life on Earth better. It's about winning something. Winning something. And boy, oh boy, did they win today, let me just say, with Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr stepped on her own dick. Okay? I'm not going to make excuses for Roseanne Barr. She was stupid. That was a stupid-ass tweet. Do I believe that she is racist? Absolutely not. It was stupid, and it was raw meat, and it was not going to be let go of, and they got themselves a scalp. Let me put it to you this way. Valerie Jarrett is a commie. She was raised by commies. She is a product of direct lines of influence from the Muslim Brotherhood. That is true. But the second you call somebody a monkey, you have no clue how many people I want to call monkeys, black and white, because that's all we are. We're just monkeys. We act like monkeys. We are shit poo-slinging monkeys at the zoo. That's all we are. But there's a racial connotation to it. You cannot say it. That's why I try to call as many white people monkeys as possible. So it's her fucking fault. I feel bad for the cast. Her fault. You're not going to move me on that one. And the left got a scalp. Because you know why? Because now Roseanne and her tweeting and the optics of racism that was in that tweet with Valerie Jarrett, it immediately gets linked to Trumpism. So don't give me your silver linings about Roseanne. That was a stupid tweet. But case in point about the left doing what they have to do, and then they start screwing with them. They blame you for whatever they're doing. They throw what they're doing on you. They flip it around and they put you on the defensive. And then, of course, when that phase is done, what they start doing is they start screwing with the language. They start changing the definitions of words and obsessing over minutia and the minor details details of any conversation to detract from the principle of the argument. So if you're talking about something of substance, they'll talk about the cherry on top. And they'll start nitpicking the cherry on top of your big principle argument. Because as long as we start talking about that, we can get away from boom. That's it. We don't have to worry about that. And we'll just trip you up here and get into the nitty-gritty details and turn you around. Case in point.